Hello everyone, my name is Andres Usma. I'm a realtor with Blue Forest Realty here in London, Ontario. And welcome to the first episode of my new real estate podcast. We're going to be talking about for the upcoming future. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things related to real estate from across the London and surrounding area. So we're going to get started with a few charts. We're going to take a look at some reports, recent sales. What are the trends? A lot of people ask me if it's a good time to buy, if it's a good time to sell. So of course, it all depends on which side of the table you are. If you're a seller, so right now it's pretty tough to get those high numbers that we used to see back in 2022. So we're going to take a closer look at reports for today. It is, which is June 11th, and it's about 10 a.m. right now. So today is actually the first day of the World Cup 2026, which we will be watching and supporting Canada and, of course, your home country. So I'm wearing my Canada t-shirt in support for later on. They're going to be playing tonight. So let's get started with some charts. What we are seeing on screen right now is basically the sale volume report. And again, this applies for all locations, all types of properties, number of bedrooms, etc., etc. So this is the transaction volume since, and I'm highlighting here at the top, since January of 2025, all the way up until today. Well, I'm going to just try to push this a little further. It looks like we only have data until May. We don't have current data, or we may have some. Yeah, we do have some data up until June, as a matter of fact, till today. So we're going to pull all this data, take a look at some of the sales volume, but I want to make sure to only pull information for London for the time being. This is information related to London. If you're interested in getting information for your specific neighborhood or for your specific city or town, email me. At the email address below where the description of this video, and then I'll be more than happy to create a report and send some of these charts and some of the trends with information related to your neighborhood. So as you can see, I'm just going to be pulling some information related to all of London. London, according to our board, L-Star is divided into these three areas: London East, London North, London South. It doesn't mean that West is not included. It is included in this in these three regions. So we're going to take a closer look at what we have for all property types. And again, this includes townhomes, everything related with residential, right? So apartments, condo townhouses, semi-detached, detached, etc., etc. So as you can see, this is the sales volume since last year. Okay, so we're taking a look and we're seeing the trend that we saw a peak, a lot of volume as far as sales back in May. Of course, we're not even half of the month of June right now, and we are not seeing as many sales, of course, again, because it's just the 11th of June. So for this month, we still don't see that much data. So May did see some really decent numbers. Compared to April and March. March and April, as you can see, they were pretty much the same. And again, this is pulling information across the city. And we saw a jump in May. So that's very good news because we're seeing then product and inventory that is moving. If we are to compare the month of May for 2026 to the month of May of 2025, we'll go back, and I'm just going to try to highlight here. There we go. So we see that back then it was 488 units that actually sold, which is, and right in this year was 543. So we saw a jump year over year of 11.3%. So that's excellent data. At this point, I'm just going to pull off my webcam so we are able to see much more clear all the data and the reports. The following report that you see on screen right now is the average sale price for the exact same time period. So from January of 2025 all the way to June today, and we're seeing the average sale price. We see that 2025 was pretty flat, basically. And again, this applied for properties in London, all residential properties. And I will make a change in just a moment of the property type because, of course, you want to see something a little bit more clear regarding your property, regarding, okay, I live in a detached property. So if I'm taking a look at numbers that apply to apartment condos, townhouses, it really dilutes the data. So we want to take a look at more specific property types in order to do that. So but again, just for the purposes of this video and our podcast, what we're going to do is take a look at March all the way to August, so of last year, 2025. So from March, 646 was the average, April 642, and again, these are in thousands. May, again, 646. 647 for June, and July and August were around the 647 mark. And again, that's $647,000 as far as the mark goes. Now, if I actually extend this a little further, and the peak of the market was back in 2022, but I'm going to pull data all the way from 2021, and you can see that peak very clearly stand out. And it is right over here. And again, this again applies for all property types in London. The peak in February 2022. Sometimes we see the peak being March or April, depending on what type of data points you're pulling. But in this particular data point, we're seeing between February and March, in April, of 2022, it was the absolute peak of the market here in the city for with an average price of $827,000. That's just crazy. That's extremely high because it was a jump of 34.8% from the previous year. Now, a lot of people, and again, I'm just going to pull my camera here because I want to make sure that you see my reaction. A lot of folks here in the city, even till today, they're still telling me, I want to sell my house for a very high number. We cannot do that because the current market conditions do not allow us to sell. And again, I don't want to say do not allow us, but again, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck with the property with a for sale sign standing there for 30, 60 days, probably even more, right? So you definitely need to take a look at this report and realize, attention sellers, attention homeowners, do not overprice your property in this market. And again, I'm just going to go back here. It's clearly what we said, that the market has taken a hit, and that's clear. And that's across the board. That's across Canada, across Ontario. We saw the numbers, yes, very high. And I hear it all the time. Oh, but I remember back in 22, my house was worth $1 million. And now you're telling me that it's worth $700,000. Well, the market has shifted. The market has changed. And the average clearly tells us, the data is telling us exactly what the market is like. But let's go ahead back again, because I like to see the overall picture over a long period of time, but I'll also like to take a look at a closer, because you want to take a look at what the action is in your market, in your neighborhood. So I'm going to do that next with picking a specific neighborhood. And again, this is not for any particular reason, but I'm going to try to pull information for, let's say, Stony Creek. Okay, Stony Creek, which is in the northeast of the city. And we're going to go, and because that's in the north end, I know that is the north. And just give me 1 second. I'm going to pull North Sea. I know North Sea is Stony Creek here in London, Ontario. I know there is a small town near Hamilton called Stony Creek, so don't get confused. This is Stony Creek neighborhood in London, Ontario. We're going to take a look at the average price, but I'm just going to narrow this search for this year only, so for the last 6 months, so for 2026. And I'm also going to even narrow it even further in just a minute. Let's take a quick look at what the data is telling us. So back in January of this year, we saw an average sale price of $613,000. compared to the year before of January 20, that is a decrease. And you can see right there, it says year over year minus 1.3%. That's not much of a difference. But again, since the beginning of this year, we have seen this curve. And fortunately for all of us, this curve is going up. So June is seeing some really, really good numbers. May saw decent numbers, better than last year, the last May, at 4.7%. And June so far, and again, we are only 11 days into June, we're seeing $770,000. And again, this is pulling all the information for all property types in Stony Creek, right? We can narrow it down even further, and you're going to start seeing some trends. So I'm going to pull data for detached properties only. So if I just click on detached, the numbers are going to be slightly different and more specific to detached properties in Stony Creek for this year. So I can see that for detached properties, the average was about $682,000, has gone up and down, a little bit up in April, which was pretty good, $806,000. Went down in May, and it looks like it's going to come back up for the month of June. Taking a look at other neighborhoods, and again, please comment on this video if you don't mind, or send me an email to the address that it will be in the description for specific neighborhoods that you would like me to analyze and send you reports on. Okay, so we're gonna do the exact same exercise for Summerside. I used to do a lot of business in Summerside a few years ago, and I know that it is South U is what the sorry, just let me bear with me for a minute. Just gonna pull that information. South U is Summerside. Here in London, Ontario, is a neighborhood here in London, Ontario. So we see that, and there's a lot of brand new construction in that area. So this, some of this data will probably be altered for that. So looking at detached properties in Summerside, all types of, bedrooms, it could be 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. The average price since the beginning of this year, we can see that we have since January back, it was $760,000, and it didn't change a whole lot. In March, only down to $739,000. Again, these are in thousands. And May, so a much healthier number, higher at $791,000. June so far is not picking up just yet, but it's gonna get there, I'm sure. And we can definitely pull those numbers in the app at the end of the month of June. This report that you see on screen right now actually pulls information from different locations in Ontario. You can see on the right-hand side that we see the average sale price by location, starting at the very top with York. So York for this period of January of last year. But again, I'm just going to change that to this year. I want to see how we had so far this year. So Halton, York, and Toronto have been at the highest, right? If we just continue scrolling down, we see the most affordable. And again, this pulls a lot of information from different areas in Ontario and across Canada as well. But I mean, some of the standouts, for example, at the bottom is average prices in Chatham, Kent, $386,000 for that region. At the same time, we can see in the middle of the screen the sales by volume. So this divides the information of where are we seeing the bulk of the sales. So we can see, and again, this applies to all property types, all regions, and I'm just going to narrow it down in just a minute for London only. But you can see that across Ontario and many parts of the country as well, we see that the $500,000 and $600,000 are at the top of the peak. So that's where we see the most sales volume. And it's probably for an obvious reason, for affordability. A lot of people may be able to afford those price ranges rather than something in the 900,000 plus or the $1 million ranges. So that's the reason why you see at the bottom that those numbers are much, much lower. So let's go ahead and narrow down this by our location of London, Ontario. I'm just going to do that very quickly here for you guys and include all 3 regions, but again, it covers the entire city, including West. Okay, so we can see, we can discard this because, of course, this will give us the average for the entire location, which is Middlesex, London, Middlesex. But sales by volume, I love this chart right here because it tells me that the peak in this time frame of 2026 so far, it's been in the $500,000 to $600,000 with 435 units sold in that price range alone. So excellent data to have here available. So that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish our podcast for today. I will come back later on with another episode, and I'm gonna give you more information. Again, if you like data, you would like to pull these reports, you want me to send you information regarding your neighborhood, because remember, if you are thinking about selling or buying in a particular area of the city, you need to know the numbers there, not across London, not across Ontario. That's why when you see in the news, well, yeah, it looks like, Canada is looking a lot better. Well, some areas are doing a lot better than they did before in years past, and others are definitely not. So it all depends on the price range. It depends on number of bedrooms, type of property. So we know for a fact that condo apartments are taking a big hit, right? So those prices are going even lower. And that will be a interesting subject to talk about, only apartment condos. We can definitely do that in the next episode. My name is Andres Usma, realtor with Blue Forest Realty here in London, Ontario. And this was your very first episode of our real estate podcast. Thank you for watching.